No soup for you. Come back 1 year.
Say, hey, good looking, what you got cooking? How's about cooking, something up with me? Say, hey, sweet baby.
Hi, I'm going to teach you what I learned about foraging mushrooms. I'm in Virginia. But some of these foraging rules about poisonous, not poisonous, and some basics are going to apply no matter where you are. So I'm going to make some wild cream of mushroom soup. So obviously, when you make any soup, you start with onions, don't you? I do. So, yep. Onions, just chopping them up fairly small. Most of them are going to go in a blender, but some of them will stay out. So I don't want to leave too many chunks too big for that. So while I'm cutting these onions up, I've got my pot on. It's on like a 4. It's pretty low and slow because of Old Man of the Woods. So I have been learning about mushrooms for a really long 4 days. And if you're like me, you don't know jack shit about foraging mushrooms, but you'd like to. What with food being so expensive and this ongoing pretend desire that you're going to go vegan one of these days, and the end of the world coming soon, the apocalypse, you're going to be like living in the woods with your zombie team. So you're going to need to know some basics. Basic rules about what to avoid. Anything pretty and white with a cap and gills underneath, like all the ones growing in your yard. If you don't know mushrooms, don't mess with gills. Don't mess with the pretty white caps. They could be death caps or amanita or whatever. Poison ladies, something else. There's a whole huge family of mushrooms called boletes or boletes. I think it's boletes. I like bolete because I like to think of it as bolete, roulette. Like, let's hope we don't die. But I think it's bolete, absolute bolete. Not that they're obsolete. So, boletes look like this on the bottom. They look like a sponge, like with tiny little spores. This is just an old iMac camera, so it's not going to be so great. But you see how these are spongy on the bottom, as opposed to the kind that have gills underneath of them. So there are few poisonous boletes. The main poisonous bolete is really red underneath. So if it's white or tan underneath, it's likely not poisonous. This is the thing you do with boletes is you do a scratch test. You go, like you're going to write your name with your thumb. This one's not really turning a color at all. So that's test 1. If it turns blue, so will you. That's one thing I picked up, all right? By the way, can you see my sign? Vegan, wild, cream of mushroom soup, or gravy. Seek professional advice. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll tell you what I've learned. Okay, so it's turning a little tan, but it's not really drawing like an ink color. So now we know it's not poisonous, it's not red, it's not blue. Is it a bitter bolete or bolete? Because most of them are bitter. One way to find out. Even if it is poisonous, this won't kill you. Chew, chew, chew. Not bitter. So it's good. Am I going to wash it? No. This popped up out of the ground last night. I can tell by how fat and fresh this guy is. No insects have even had a chance. Washing it's going to make it soggy. This huge puffball that I made French toast with earlier today. This is all left over from my French toast, so that's why I got made. Nice. So here's another little tiny bolete. Just pop that bad little bitty baby. right, so these are good. This guy, this one is yellow underneath. I don't trust it because it looks scary to me. When in doubt, throw it out. But I'm wondering also, if I draw on it, if it's gonna, like, I don't know, just turn crazy things. I don't know. I'm scared of it. So, all right. Now, the ones I know are good are the puffballs. Because these puffballs, if you cut them and they're white inside, they're good. This one's the tiniest bit beige, but that's okay. That's because it's like a day old. That's why I didn't make French toast for the dough. That's why I'm making soup. Now you can peel the skins off, but I hear it's good for soup stock. So why not soup itself? It's going to go in a blender. I know. But you're intrigued, right? It's going to be delicious. I have so many more mushrooms. I'm going to show you too. All right. Just throw some of those in. So the main other one is Old Man of the Woods. Old Man of the Woods is really easy to identify, really easy to cook. Otherwise, it's going out. But, so this is an older Old Man of the Woods. So it's got one or two little bug holes in it. So if you're real freaked out about stuff like that, you're going to want to cut it open and make sure there's no worms in there. But if you're not that freaked out and you're making soup like me, fucking throw it in, man. It ain't gonna kill you. We don't think. And this is a new like baby one, so it's nice and clean all the way around. Again, it's a boulette or a boulette. It's got the holes on the bottom. Another young one. So you see what they look like in different stages of development. If you're not sure if it's an Old Man of the Woods, don't do it. If you wanted to save these, I'm just going to cook it all up because I already dehydrated a bunch the other day. You would slice them like this, you know? And you know what? This one is so pretty, I will. And you would put it on a drying rack. You know what I happen to have right here, seriously, because I made the French toast, is a waffle platter. So that's similar to I'm going to lay these out and stick them right in the freezer. I haven't tried that yet. And then once they're frozen, I'm going to put them in a bag. But I think they're supposed to be good to freeze, single layer. All right, so these will go in the freezer. Now, and I'll keep cutting these up while I teach you more. Okay, so my other favorite new mushroom that I've learned about, chanterelles. Nothing else looks like the cinnabar chanterelle. That's this guy. They're bright orange. This is even looking washed out in my, maybe if I turn this light off, you can see how orange it is. See? Ring light. See? That's how much prettier it makes everything. All right, so this is a chanterelle. And if you look underneath, you see how it doesn't quite have gills. It has ridges, like veins. That is a chanterelle. That's how you know it's a chanterelle. It has ridges, not veins. And the cinnabar chanterelle, this bright orange guy, has no lookalikes. So you really can't get them confused. And same goes for black trumpets. These I picked yesterday, so they've dried out and now they're light brown. They were black when I picked them. And this is what they look like now. They're beautiful, right? And the fact that they dried out a little bit is no problem at all. I should have cleaned them in the forest. That's a big, like, etiquette, protocol thing that shroomy people like is, you know, brush the dirt off in the forest. Clean them in the forest. Cut them open and take a look at them in the forest. Because if it's not going to be edible or it does have bugs or worms in it, you want to leave that in the woods. Also, it continues to spore. Spores come out of it. So if you leave it in the woods or if you cut the ends off and leave them in the woods, it's good for more mushrooms for next time. Sometimes the same spots produce the same mushrooms year after year. People have their little secret go-to spots. They have mushroom journals where they write down where they found everything and recipes they made and whatnot. Anyway, we're going to make this vegan. All we got right now is olive oil, onions, mushrooms. These are all mushrooms that I've had, so I know they're good. If it's a mushroom you're trying for the first time, even if you think it's good, you probably want to cook it very well. Always cook it very well. Don't eat raw wild mushroom. And then eat a little amount. And wait a couple of hours and see how you feel. By the way, poisonous mushrooms, the ones that do poison you, they're common in the U.S., like death cap. The first you have like dire gastrointestinal responses, obviously like throw up, diarrhea, whatever, and then you feel better, and then you die. Like right after you start feeling better is when you have like kidney and liver failure and die. So people think they're on the mend and they decide not to go to the hospital and die. There are very few mushrooms that kill you like that, but when they do, that's how it happens. Well, that's what I've learned. By the way, wash your hands. Can't hear me, right? Dishwasher. It's okay. We're going to play some Led Zeppelin. Because I was worried I was rocking out when my friend's teenage son was in school, and I was going to totally embarrass him and go like running into the other room and be like, "Are you student? Oh, baby, I'm fooling." And just like embarrass the heck out of him. But I did. Don't you want it? You think fooling, baby, I'm not fooling. I'm gonna send you back to fooling. Way down inside, honey, you can feel it. I'm gonna give you my love. I'm gonna give you my love. These are chanterelles too. So, no gills, just veins, right?
Way down inside, woman, you need
Alright, let that cook up. I'm gonna boil some water. I'm just making a like miso onion soup that I'm gonna add a bunch of coconut milk and mushrooms to. And then I got some thyme. I think thyme, I love the way thyme tastes with mushrooms because it's I don't know, it's subtle. It's got like, said, what's the time? Oh man, it's time to put some time on it. Garlic. Oh my god, it smells so good. Alright, we're just gonna stop and come back. Well, I know what I can show you. I can show you what a puffball mushroom looks like. Sometimes they're this big or this big. One was 50 pounds once, I read. But this is a small one. I used all the big ones earlier to make French toast. Yes, I sliced them up and made French toast. But this is an edible mushroom that anyone can pick and eat. They're all over the U.S. And the only thing you need to do to make sure it's not poisonous is cut into it. And if it's white inside, you're good to go. The poisonous ones are like black, purple, green. They're not light beige. They're not almost white. They're not white at all. So if you cut your bitch open and it's white inside, boom. That is a good puffball mushroom. I'm going to put this one in soup. It was a little small for my, I'm just going to break it all up. It was a little small for my French toast. And I did take some pictures and make a video of that. So I'm just going to throw the rest of this puffball in there. That's easy to identify, and you know it's not poisonous. So I just have onions sauteing. I boiled some water because I'm going to make a miso soup base. Yes, Darlene, did you want to play soccer right now? I'm kind of in the middle of a thing, girl. I use miso as a base for so many things. I make salad dressing with miso paste. I make all my vegetarian, vegan soup bases with miso paste. And I'm going to be adding to that coconut milk that I got in a carton. And thyme. I bought thyme, but I can't find it. But it's got to be here somewhere. Why am I always losing time? Maybe you're lonely. Maybe you're a friend of mine. You miss me. Maybe you're like, really? Is bitch just going out in the woods and picking up dang mushrooms? Yeah, she is. I mean, look at these beauties that I have yet to identify. I think they're turkey tail, but I'm not confident enough to cook with them. They could be a small reishi. They could be poisonous. I don't think they're jack-o'-lantern because they're not orange. And those are the poisonous lookalikes. These guys are chanterelles. They're black trumpets. They are dried out because I left them sitting over an air conditioner last night. This is a bottle of whiskey. That's a fantastic idea. If it's got gills underneath it, if you don't know anything about mushrooms, and it's got gills, forget about it. Now, chanterelles don't have gills. They have ridges or veins underneath. And that's what they look like. They look like ridges or veins. They do not look like the gills that you can just like flick off. You know, little like the underside of an umbrella. Boletes look like spongy things. Bolete or bolete look like sponges, and they have pores instead of gills. And so they're most likely not poisonous. but they're also most likely bitter. Only like 1 in 3 is going to be non-bitter. So you have to take a bite of it and go and spit it out. And if you're like, bleh, that's bitter. Unless you really like bitter, I guess. Some people are bitter, you know. Not my fault. I didn't do shit. All right, I found the time. So my soup's been cooking, I don't know, half an hour or so. I'm putting some fresh thyme in there. I'll show you what it looks like in a second. I have got Old Man of the Woods bullets, some unidentified bullets that are not bitter and not poisonous and therefore safe. I just don't know what their names are. They do not have poisonous look-alike. So I'm putting some, you know, fresh-ish. Nothing seems fresh anymore now that I've foraged my own mushrooms. I'm like, is it really fresh thyme? I mean, how fresh is it? Was it picked like an hour and a half ago? I don't think so. Let me close this back thing. So I have black trumpet chanterelles. Oh, this is Darlene. Darlene, you come back here. You can get in the screen, girl. Oh, wonderful girl. Wonderful girl. Look at your face up there. You see that face? You see that face? You see that face? So I'm putting a bunch of thyme in here, and I think this shit has cooked down a lot. It was like the whole pot was full, and now is looking like this. Yeah, look good. So I guess it's pretty well cooked. I'm going to leave it on low. You want to make sure wild mushrooms are always really well cooked because, you know, you just don't know. Not that they might be poisonous, but that there might be something else on them that's poisonous or bugs. Also, even if it's not poisonous, it might not agree with you, just like some things in the grocery store might not agree with you. So if you make something with wild mushrooms, first of all, don't ever take my word for anything. Seek professional advice. You know, bring a field guide, bring someone that knows mushrooms with you if you go foraging, or just on your first hunt, bring a camera and then go home and see what you found. Anyway, so yeah, always cook them really well. If you don't know what it is, when in doubt, throw it out. If it turns blue, so will you. And if it's small and brown, throw it down. So that's if you don't know. Of course, there are exceptions to all those rules, but if you're no expert, you don't know what those exceptions are. But don't risk your life on my account for anything. We got a bunch of time. Everyone needs more time in their life, or maybe you have too much time. Maybe that's what's brought you here. Right, Dar? Dar has too much time. She quit her job as a security guard. Well, actually, she got laid off. She's collecting unemployment. All right, so onions, mushrooms, thyme, and garlic. That's all that is. Miso soup made from paste. I lost the lid, but it's just organic miso soup. So I'm going to let all of that cook together for a little bit. And then I'm going to put it in a blender with coconut milk. This, I'm sure you're wondering, what this delicious thing is. I've saved the ingredients out so that you can admire them. Lindy's Italian water ice and basil Hayden. It's like a float. It's like a whiskey sour frozen. It's a whiskey sour slushy is what it is. Fucking fantastic.
I might smoke a little